Welcome to TV Africa News. Thank you so much for joining us and always being part of us. This is Africa Today. My name is Nahabika Jura, but first are the headlines. EC kicks off display of voters' registers for local government councils by elections. Kamia rallies public to join fight against corruption. Tributes continue to pour in for Angola's former leader Dos Santos. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni flags off Uganda teams for World Athletics Championship Commonwealth Games. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. We start with one of our top stories. The Electoral Commission has started displaying the National Voters Register in preparation for the by-elections for local government councils in electoral areas across the country where vacancies exist. Take a look at this story.
In a statement, Paul Bukenya, the EC spokesperson, said the register will be publicly displayed for a period of 10 days starting today, Monday 11th July, and ending on Wednesday 28th July 2022. During this exercise, Bukenya explained that voters' registers for the following special interest groups will be displayed in particular electoral areas where vacancies for the respective positions exist: register for the youths, registers of persons with disability, and registers of older persons. After the display exercise, Bukenya said that the lists of all persons recommended for deletion from all inclusion on the voters register will also be displayed for a period of 6 days from 22nd to 27th July 2022 at the respective parish/ward headquarters within the affected electoral areas. The nomination of candidates for the by-elections will be conducted on 3rd and 4th August 2022, while the campaigns will take place from 6th to 16th August 2022.
Moving on in our top stories, the Inspectorate of Government has intensified the fight against corruption by asking the local population to find all the means of confronting the corrupt in the society as one way of doing away with the vice.
Speaking at the commemoration of the African Anti-Corruption Day 2022 at Imperial Royal Hotel in Kampala, Inspector General of Government Betty Kamya said that by doing so, the corrupt may refrain from swindling public funds. Kamya said that questions around how to defeat corruption are the reason the African Anti-Corruption Day was designated by the African Union to move Africa to reflect on the causes and effects of corruption, then work out solutions to end it, and thus redeem the people from the shackles of that bondage. She said that when the masses appreciate that poor service delivery is caused by corruption, they rise up to fight. Kamya noted that when masses understand that all the $140 billion which Uganda receives from the West in loans, grants and aids goes to a few people's pockets, it will be them and their grandchildren to pay it back with interest. They will rise up to redeem that money. Kamya noted that Africa has established a robust infrastructure to fight corruption, using Uganda as an example, saying there is an elaborate legal and administrative framework to fight graft. The Deputy IGG, Patricia Achan, called for a united continental approach in the fight against corruption.
Well, thank you so much, reporter. Moving on, yesterday, Lord Mayor for Kampala Erias Lukwago explained how the ongoing operations on borders and vendors are illegal and thus has filed a case in High Court against these moves. Now, however, the RCC for Rubaga Anderson Burora has said that all the allegations by the mayor are not true and saying he would rather have advised on the ongoing situation. Now, this the RCC said while addressing the media center in Kampala.
Speaking to the media, the RCC for Rubaga Division Anderson Brora said that Mayor Elias Lukwago misinterpreted the issue of borders since he has been abroad, and it's from this backlog that he requested to meet with him and brief him on how things are moving, saying though this won't stop the operations in the city. He further said that whatever has been taken to court by the mayor and his team is false with no vivid evidence. Brora added that though much was said by the Lord Mayor, this won't stop them at any time, saying that the borders have not been stopped from operating in Kampala. When asked on why they engage in duties they are not obligated to, he responded that they operate as a unit, thus enlightening us on the number of registered border operators under this program.
Well, thank you so much, reporter. We'll take a quick break. We shall come back with the international news. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. In international news, tributes continue to pour in for Angola's former leader, Dos Santos, who died on Friday. Now, Angola's President João Lourenço and government officials on Monday opened the signing of a condolence book. Take a look at the story.
Members of Parliament, high-ranking military officials, constitutional court judges, and religious leaders participated in the commemoration event for the former president. Angola's President João Lourenço and government officials on Monday opened the signing of a condolence book for former President José Eduardo dos Santos, who died on Friday. According to Fernando da Padre Diaso dos Santos, President of the National Assembly, they worked together until they reached peace in the country and started the national reconciliation. Fernando added that national unity was established and Dos Santos began the national reconstruction of their country, which has some the remarkable and unforgettable moments. Dos Santos died on July 8th in a clinic in Barcelona, Spain. He was 79 years old and died following a long illness. He had ruled Angola for almost 40 years. Lourenço on Friday declared 5 days of mourning following death of the former leader.
Moving on in international news, security guards have arrived at the Semukelesiwe restaurant where a shooting took place in Sweetwaters, a township near Pietermaritzburg on July 10, 2022, to begin its investigations that left 19 people dead. We have more.
According to the police, 2 bar shootings, one in a township close to Johannesburg and another in eastern South Africa, left 19 dead. In Soweto, 15 people were killed as they enjoyed a night out, police said, when assailants drew up in a minibus taxi and began randomly firing at bar patrons. In the eastern city of Pietermaritzburg, police reported 4 people were killed and 8 wounded during a shootout in a bar after 2 men fired discriminately at customers. Police sources said it was too early to say if the assaults were in some way connected, but observed their similarity. In Soweto, Johannesburg's largest township to the southwest of South Africa's economic capital, police were called to the scene shortly after midnight. There were no details regarding the assailants.
Away from that, Libya's Fathi Bashagha, appointed as Prime Minister in a challenge to a unity government in Tripoli, plans to take office in the capital in the coming days, according to sources. We have more.
Libya's parliament picked the former interior minister in February to lead a government to replace that of interim premier Abdul Hamid Deiba, appointed last year as part of a United Nations-backed peace process to end more than a decade of violence in the North African country. But Deiba has refused to hand over power before elections, setting up a showdown with Bashagha, named by the Eastern-based legislature elected in 2014 and backed by military strongman Khalifa Haftar. In May, Bashagha arrived in the capital Tripoli in the country's west and attempted to take office there, sparkling pre-dawn clashes between armed groups supporting him and those backing Deiba. He told the media that he backed down to avoid bloodshed, but said that he has since received positive invitations to enter the capital. Both Bashagha and Deiba come from the western city of Misrata and are backed by different forces in Tripoli.
Now, some 250 elephants are to be driven 350 kilometers across the country to be relocated from Liwonde to Kasungu National Park in Malawi by the end of July. Now, this move aims to tackle overpopulation at Liwonde, where cases of elephants straying into human communities around the park were becoming a concern. We have more.
This is the second translocation in 3 years, with 300 elephants moved to Nkota Game Reserve in 2019. The species had almost disappeared at Kasungu National Park in central Malawi, with around 50 specimens compared to 1,200 around 50 years ago, mainly due to poaching for ivory. According to Patricio Ndazela from the International Fund of Animal Welfare in Malawi, poaching has decreased and the number of elephants has increased, and there are now 120 elephants. He added that the introduction of 250 additional elephants will change this scenario. The animals will be transferred between June 27th and July 29th. In Liwonde, poaching has almost disappeared and elephants are now overpopulated. Other animals will also be transported, such as buffaloes, impalas, or even warthogs.
Africa Today takes a quick break. We shall come back with business, health, and sports. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. In a business news today, girls in rural Zimbabwe are forced to use cow dung for sanitary ware as inflation hits feminine hygiene products. Now, for an equivalent to $, sanitary pads are beyond reach for most of the country's 3 million menstruating girls who live below the poverty determined line.
According to the Ministry of Women and Youth Affairs, 67% of girls miss school during menstruation due to a lack of access to sanitary products and clean sanitation facilities. Girls with disabilities usually drop out of school altogether. An example is Constance Domingo, 19, who wriggles in her wheelchair and remembered that the last time she used a sanitary pad was before her mother died last year. Constance is one of the 72% of girls located in the rural town of Domboshava, 30 kilometers north of the capital Harare, who do not have access to commercial sanitary ware, according to a study by SNV Netherlands Development Organization in Zimbabwe. Apart from missing school, health experts say these methods are breeding grounds for Salmonella, E. coli, and several bacteria that can result in reproductive health infections. The government of Zimbabwe has made efforts to ease the situation by scrapping taxes on all sanitary products.
In Africa Today Health, with the overall trend of the virus on the African continent still down, the World Health Organization in the Kasarani district of the Kenyan capital Nairobi has embarked on a mobile clinic with health workers to drive up COVID-19 vaccinations. We have more.
WHO figures report that as of 6th April 2022, there were 11.5 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 and more than 252,000 deaths reported on the continent. In Kenya, there were 334,551 confirmed cases and 5,656 deaths from 3rd June 2020 to 6th July this year, according to WHO figures. So far, the country has administered 18,535,975 vaccine doses, but encouraging everyone to get jabbed is a challenge. African Medical and Research Foundation AMREF is taking the battle to the streets with a mobile clinic hoping to increase the number of people getting immunized. The mobile clinic is able to reach densely populated areas as well as more rural populations while maintaining the need for cold storage of vaccines like AstraZeneca and Moderna. Cold storage in the field has proven difficult in the hot and humid climate of some African countries, but according to AmRefo's Dr. Catherine Canary, this unit has a solar-powered system that is helping to overcome that obstacle.
In a sports news today, the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, officially flagged off the national teams for two upcoming international events, the 2022 World Athletics Championship and the Commonwealth Games. Now, the official flag of the ceremony was held at Kololo Airstrip Grounds in Kampala on Monday, July 11th, 2022.
At the 2022 Commonwealth Games, Uganda will be represented in 11 sports disciplines of squash, netball, rugby, swimming, paraswimming, table tennis, badminton, wrestling, cycling, boxing and athletics. The President urged the delegation upon working diligently to represent their country with honor. He also emphasized the value of sports ranging from fitness, character building, entertainment, teamwork and publicity of the country, warning the sportsmen against ill mannerism of drinking alcohol and sexual immorality. The Minister of Education and Sports, also the First Lady Janet Museveni, urged the sportsmen on discipline and fronting the spirit of patriotism.
Well, thank you so much for being a loyal audience from where we started from. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We should keep updating you. It is TV Africa, the right to know.